Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to our latest live video. I'm pleased to say that today we're talking all about video marketing, and we've got a video marketing expert with us. As you can see on screen, Ryan's with us. I will hand it over to Ryan in a second to introduce himself. Now, as we all know, probably video has probably exploded into our lives more than we'd ever expected in 2020. So we're going to go through all that type of stuff and maybe some hints and tips on the types of things we can all do to get better at doing videos. Now we are on our various social media platforms. So if anyone's got any questions or comments as we're going along, feel free to fire them in. I know that people do watch quite a lot of these videos after the live broadcast. Again, if you've got questions, feel free to put them on, and I'm sure Ryan will be happy to have a look at them afterwards as well.
Cool.
So Ryan, do you want to quickly introduce yourself, and then we'll go into some questions and have a discussion about it all?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Michael. Great to be here. So I'm Ryan Mulhern. I run a company called First Frame. It's a video marketing company, and we create regular video content for businesses and help them distribute them and help them kind of with their video marketing strategies. And I also train businesses and individuals how to make videos on their smartphones as well. So that's a little bit about me.
That's great. That's great. I mean, so obviously I've touched on it in the introduction there. How has 2020 been for you in the video world, and how much has it all kind of exploded?
Yeah, I mean, 2020 was going well anyway, until lockdown. And then, obviously had a little bit of time where it went a bit quiet. So I kind of literally just smashed LinkedIn 110%. And from then, a lot of opportunities came. And actually, deep into lockdown, we started doing a lot of video work. Some of a regular client kind of was pushing a lot of jobs our way, but then other businesses were kind of started to realize that they needed to do video or either be trained on video, which kind of we started doing a lot of that, a lot of the smartphone video training over Zoom actually, which was really bizarre. I started doing it in my attic, with like a bed in the back and all sorts of stuff in the back. So it was quite interesting. But yeah, companies have, I think they took a while to realize, but I think it took a good few months. But yeah, no, it's really interesting how things have changed and how people now have realized, kind of panicked a little bit and realized, well, they need video straight away.
No, absolutely. I think we've all been aware of that. And so what's your background anyway? How do you kind of get into video, and how's that all come about?
So I got into video. So I'm from Jersey anyway. Not that people need to know that, but I did A-level media, and it ended up going to Lincoln University. Don't believe what they say in the in-betweeners, by the way, because Lincoln University is a good uni. Very good for media as well, and video and stuff. So I did a degree there. And I actually came to Leeds to make a music video for a band who were signed by Sony at the time. And we recorded their first music video for their single. We got it onto MTV too, and then I ended up moving to Leeds. Unfortunately, they got dropped, and no bands who were trying to make it had any money. Couldn't even afford £50 to put together a video. So I ended up working at Leeds Beckett's for 5 years. And I was always kind of starting my own business, if you like. And it wasn't until I played in the band a little bit, and it wasn't until I actually met a girl here and actually had a baby that kind of made me think, you know what, I need to start taking life a bit seriously. So I started doing a bit of video work for Leeds Beckett's, their team surplus video, and then kind of went freelance, really. Actually created a company called Mulhern Media, which is kind of separate. I don't really talk about it because it's quite different, and it's a lot of, it used to do a lot of weddings and stuff like that, but that's all kind of delegated these days as well. And then kind of set up First Frame about 5 or 6 years ago with the idea just to do solely commercial work, work with commercial clients, and because it is quite different, and I just wanted to be a little bit different. So and that's the kind of takes us nearly up to now. Obviously, the business changed quite a bit a couple of years ago, but yeah, that's kind of my story.
No, that makes sense. And I think you kind of touched on it a bit at the start and there, really, about video. And I think there's probably been a misconception for a lot of people that using video is only really for maybe bigger businesses with bigger budgets. And you touched on smartphones there, and how much can that be used for anybody?
Well, for a start, I know you've asked me, can video just be used with bigger budgets? Not at all. Some of the best video marketers I see around have it with their phones because you got the key word there, which is marketing. A lot of big businesses, they pay thousands for video, but they don't know how to market the video. And this is what kind of has prompted us to change our business over the last couple of years, and especially as 2021 comes in, because we're going to be distributing video content for for businesses as well, because a lot of them don't know how to do it. But back to your question, yeah, if there's small businesses out there, the best thing you can do is to start giving tips out. Just learning how to film yourself properly, or go onto my profile. There's loads of free tips, but giving out some tips, talking about your business, doing behind the scenes videos, just getting people, bringing people into your world. And, you can do that with a smartphone. You don't, honestly, people are probably undersell our done for you kind of services sometimes, because I'm like, you don't need to pay thousands for a video. And, it's just getting used to video and kind of used to how video works and how you're going to use it. And then maybe, in the future, I find when companies get comfortable with it, then they do go, you know what, now we understand that, yeah, we will get a produced video for our homepage, or some client testimonials, some case studies, because they can only go so far, but they can get people to get to know them very, very quickly through that, because, video, it builds trust, and you can be fake to a certain extent, which I wouldn't advise, but, you do get to know the person, and it creates a lot of authenticity as well.
Absolutely, as we all know, the whole personal branding kind of world is big at the moment, and I think it's probably going to only get bigger. And videos are such one of the great routes to that, isn't it? To people getting to know who the people are behind the business.
Definitely. I mean, personal branding is massive at the moment. Like, it's brilliant, and essentially it's just getting to know someone, and I think it's just adding to their visibility, because a lot of people think, they have to build the company brand, but actually, really, especially a lot of small businesses. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't matter how big the business is, but people buy people, so people want to get to know the person in that business. So, and then they see that they're the person that kind of, what's the word? They kind of represent that bigger business, so to speak. But it's those personal relationships that are really important. That's why personal branding is really, really important. I think some people shy away from that. You get a lot of video companies actually that won't go on camera. They're just used to being behind the camera. But really, nowadays, more than ever, they need to be in front of the camera, and people need to get to know them. But, what I love about personal branding is when people see you on social media, it's when they see you in real life and stuff, or, you might start to get referred for things. Since I've been doing a lot of videos myself over the last couple of years, people will refer me that I've never even met, just from the content that I've seen on LinkedIn. But then when you see people in real life, they feel like they already know you already, which is really, it's that someone described it as like a minor celebrity thing, because you keep seeing that person on this screen, and it's not like, LinkedIn is still a virtual world. It is real, but it's, you're not seeing that person face to face all the time. So it's quite interesting, the things that can happen.
No, absolutely, and I think I know when we spoke previously about there's a book that I would advise to anyone about this, Key Person of Influence, by Daniel Priestley. It's very much about this type of thing, isn't it? And I know this kind of how our conversation came about, wasn't it? From LinkedIn, basically, and you being present on there and videos and the various things that you do.
Yeah, that's how we've got to know each other. Definitely, obviously, I've seen a lot of your lives and a lot of your content, and I think perception's massive. I mean. And like you say, anyone looking to read that book it is awesome, and it is a bit of a journey as well. It's like a step-by-step thing, but small things, random things happen, small things happen, but it's like, seeing people on LinkedIn all the time putting videos, for me, creates perception. It's like I used to always go and see public speakers and always think, wow, they must have an amazing business. These guys must be the real deal. They must charge thousands. And then you get to know them, and yeah, some of them do, but they are just real people. They've just gone out of their comfort zone. And I think that is the thing with the key personal influence is going out of your comfort zone, and being on video is one of those things, and then public speaking is one of those things, and maybe running workshops, but showing up and like it's literally just being visible. But one random thing that does happen, I find, is I put a video about this last week or the week before, is even little things that happen are like, if you're putting out regular content, people come out of the woodwork. So you might have put a quote in or sent a proposal 6 months earlier, or spoke to someone a year ago, and then you haven't heard from them. But then when you start doing content, all of a sudden, you might get a phone call out of the blue. Like I got one the other day about a 12-month contract, and that someone else comes out of the blue. Oh, Ryan, we need to revisit that. We never did this or whatever. And it's, I keep seeing your content, and it's like, it's just mad really what happens. So, there's, even if you're not getting regular leads in or whatever, things will happen from being, consistent on here and on social media.
Oh, I think the key word you've just used there is consistent. I think that's the thing. Doing one video is good. It's better than doing no videos. But I think you've just got to be as consistent as possible to try and keep up that presence, haven't you? And like you said, it might not be the first time you do it. It might be the 50th time you do it. But you're reminding people that you're there and what you do, and that's so important.
Definitely. We've got a question. Is it better to add video blogs to subscribers rather than... Oh, look at that. It's up there down below. That's brilliant. Is it better to add video blogs to subscribers rather than written information, or is it a mix better, and at what split? Interesting question. I'm not quite sure what you mean, Stephen, actually. It's better to add video blogs to subscribers rather than written information. Is that, do you mean just, Stephen, feel free to add, do you just mean on YouTube, or are you thinking, because well, in fact, I can kind of answer that actually. So is it better to add video blogs to subscribers? If you mean just kind of put out video blogs to people that subscribe to your content, I'd say no, because one of the purposes of video blogs is kind of building an audience. So I think as well as putting out content to your subscribers, I think you always want to be kind of still building an audience as well, and building more subscribers as well.
Was it maybe about as well about the mix between written content, video content, and other types of content, or is just video content, does that suffice?
I think a good mix, to be honest. I think a mix of written blogs, video blogs, even, and if you think of like your social media posts, written posts, video posts, and also posts with an image. Someone actually told me last week, because LinkedIn's changed its algorithm at the moment since stories have come along, and actually video posts aren't actually doing as well at the moment. They're not getting the engagement and the reach at the moment. So actually, but the best post at the moment that this marketing agency's told us is that is a post with an image. So like a photo or an image or something, they're the posts that are doing the best at the moment. So it is quite interesting. So Stephen, in answer to your question, I'd certainly say a good mix of content. And just a very quick tip here: if your stuff is all video and you might not be great at writing, or you might not want to write loads of video blogs like myself, rev.com is a great resource, and what it can do is transcribe your videos for you. So you can upload your videos as well as getting caption files like subtitles. Rev.com will also write out that video blog for you into text form. Then you can create that into a nice little blog yourself, add images, things like that. And it's really saving you a lot of time, but probably adding a lot of value to your website and for your SEO and things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's repurposing your information, isn't it? And using it in various different ways. No, absolutely. It's great. So I've got a question for you, which I'm slightly reluctant to ask, because I've probably done some of these things you might answer. Is what are the kind of video no-nos, the type of things that people should try to avoid doing when putting videos out there? Is there anything that particular, that you've seen?
I think a lot of people are putting out kind of traditional videos that used to work kind of maybe 10 years ago, which are very salesy videos. They'll just go, well, first of all, they're just putting out one video, which for me is just a no-no. You want it to be regular. You want to get people to know you. On LinkedIn, I mean, LinkedIn's probably a better platform, but let's just say on Facebook or Instagram, your post can have been and gone within, 30 minutes or something like that. It could be literally, that's it. So you've got that window for people to see your video. That's why you need to be consistent. Other ones are like, people are being too salesy. They're just doing like an advert all the time straight away. And it's not about that. For me, you want people to buy into you and to build trust. So giving advice is very, very, very good. A lot of people are just doing bad videos, really, not composing them right, having them kind of their head in the right, cutting the head off, or, having them portrait, or, just being composed really wrong, like me being out here or things like that, and not looking at the camera, not looking at the lens is really bad as well. If I was building my personal brand, if I was like a big CEO of a company and I come to do my first video because it's easy to do, and I'm talking like that or something like that, or the camera's kind of down there and I'm kind of, showing the double chins, not the best kind of side of me, it's not the best look. And really, I think you want to come across as professional as you can and as natural as you can. So there's a lot of kind of no-nos as well. I mean, there are a few that just kind of spring to mind though at the moment.
Yeah, kind of on the flip side then, what kind of really easy things that people can do to, make it look, whether it's sound, lighting or anything like that, what really quick and easy things can they do?
Yeah, so obviously lighting is great. So first of all, especially for LinkedIn, unless you're doing a story, is to bring your phone landscape, okay, not portrait. If it's portrait, you're going to get the black bars down each side, which doesn't look professional. So bring it landscape. We watch TV 16:9. The next one was to bring it eye level as well. A lot of people, again, have their phone down there, kind of double chins or whatever. Or they might be like thinking they're in The Only Way is Essex. So they're having the phone there, you know, being a bit vain. So bring it eye level. You know, most of us talk to people at eye level. The other one, again, looking at the lens, you know, if you can't find the lens on your screen, you can put a post-it note over your screen, so you're not never look at yourself on the mobile phone, because you're not actually looking at the lens or the audience. You can put a post-it note, put an arrow to the lens, which is a little black dot on the side. And then the other one, lighting as well. Like I asked you before we came on air, is my forehead too shiny, Michael? You know what I mean? My window's open, and that's a good thing. You don't need to go out and buy a light. If you've got a window, you can use natural light, which is your window. Always have the window in front of you, though, not behind, because you can look like a silhouette if the lighting's wrong. But natural light's great. I mean, today it's quite cloudy, so it's all right. Although, you know, I've been probably put a bit too much moisturiser on this morning. You know what I mean? Got a bit of a shiny forehead, so.
No, I use I've got like a USB plug-in that goes in the back of my computer. Obviously, doing a lot of Zoom calls and that type of thing. Just sometimes the natural light is fine. It doesn't really make a difference. But days when it's a little bit darker, or especially, you know, we're still in the office at 4 o'clock and it's pitch black outside. Yeah. It does help.
If you can control the light, even better. Like, you know, when we film for clients, we'll have it's ideally if it's pitch black to start with, perfect, or we'll get rid of any light, because we'll just control the light from there. But obviously, you know, we use, you know, 3-point lighting, 4-point lighting, all that kind of stuff. So
we've had another question pointing from Paul, actually. So he was tasked a while ago about getting slides up on a LinkedIn page on a regular basis, all going well with that, which is great. Getting more followers, more than the main rival, which is brilliant. He's looking to do a few small video clips, but unsure how to make that move forward. So kind of hopefully for a start off, some of the things you've already mentioned will help. Would you advise getting a YouTube page as well and using that, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, you know, one thing about YouTube is, which a lot of people don't get, is it's a bit of a different strategy. Okay, a lot of people will just post their YouTube links on LinkedIn, which doesn't work because obviously LinkedIn doesn't like to be linked away from. But I think it could be a separate audience, but you know, you have to grow it separately and you have to kind of keep them as separate entities, if you like. So in answer to that guy's question, it very, very quickly, how can he start into video? I just start by doing, you know, little 1-minute tips on video. Can you write down 10 of your most frequently asked questions, or similar to the advice that you're giving out on the slides, and you know, just talk about them. You know, just say, here's my 3 top tips for, let's just say if it was me, top 3 tips today on kind of, you know, looking at the lens on a smartphone, or top 3 tips on lighting on a smartphone, things like that. Keep it to the point. You know, you got some good information there, and keep it consistent, at least one a week, and then people will start to build your audience and just kind of build confidence. I know you're on about YouTube. Yeah. Did you want me to kind of elaborate on?
Yeah, please do.
More on YouTube. So YouTube's a little bit different. As much as you want to be consistent, again and again, consistency is the thing. YouTube, obviously, you know, Google it's owned by Google, so it's kind of the second biggest search engine. So a lot of people don't realize that, and they'll, you know, one big mistake people do on YouTube is they'll have a company video, and they might just put, like, say if it was my company, First Frame company video. Now, if people don't know about First Frame and they want a video, they would not search First Frame company video. They might search video marketing company leads, video production leads. So actually your title and your long form kind of keyword needs to be something like video marketing company leads, and try and make that a bit different because it's quite competitive. So you might want, you know, producing a video in 2021 or something like that. But this is why YouTube's great, and this is why making multiple videos is great, because you can make 10, 20, 30, 100 different videos and keyword them all differently about a similar subject. Also on YouTube, you really want to get people to like and subscribe, and you want to get that into the video quite early because subscribers is good, and you want to get people to kind of engage quite early as well on most social platforms, because the algorithm on these social media channels, if they see a video as being popular quite early on, they're going to promote that video kind of thing, and it's going to do well. Other things are as well, I've been told in the past, I don't know if it's still relevant, but try and put around 300 words in your description as well, because it is like a web page in essence, every video. And then obviously have the right keywords in the bottom as well. And you can use something called TubeBuddy, which you can pay a subscription for that, but it can I think you can pay different subscriptions, but it can actually add the right keywords for you and kind of give you the right keywords to do. But it is all about being consistent. And as long as the videos aren't boring, you've got to look at it. Going back to the fundamentals, if the video is really boring, no one's going to watch it. You're not really going to build an audience. But if you give an advice and it's quite, it keeps people's attention and grabs people's attention quite quickly, then you should grow an audience in any channel really, as long as you're not being salesy.
Yeah, I think, my tip from, obviously I'm not a video expert like Ryan, but from doing a lot of these live videos is just get going with it. And your first few videos probably might not be great, but don't worry about that. You will get better. You'll get more. You'll get used to it, and you'll pick up, and that's fine. It's just more because most people will think about it and never get started. And
honestly, that's a great tip actually. And so many people I've got an online course I'm doing, and we're trying to encourage people to get their first video out on LinkedIn, so everyone can see. And they're like, yeah, but it's just not perfect. I'm just like, you know what? It's never going to be perfect. One, because majority of people don't like looking at themselves or seeing themselves on video, and it does take a while to get over. But, the more, so get that first one is the biggest hurdle, okay? And one thing I will say, if you've got a bit of a network around you, is when you put out that first video, your network normally come together and they'll kind of praise you and go, give you a kind of hand on the back and all that kind of thing and say, well done. So get that first video out and then just kind of keep it consistent. And it does gradually get easier. Some days, I'll be honest, I'll just do a video and it won't be as good as the previous video in terms of lighting or whatever, but you just want to get that information out and be consistent. And I think that's the worst thing, is worrying about it and then missing a week's worth of content. At least you're still being out there and people will resonate with what you're talking about.
Absolutely. So Kate said she really likes the Post-it note tip. Cheers. So that's a good one. Thank you for that. So you kind of touched on it there about people quite often feel very self-conscious on video. Now, I guess one of maybe the things that happened over the last 6 months is things like Zoom has meant that we're just a little less self-conscious because we spend half as days looking back at his own face. But any kind of hints and tips for people kind of getting over that?
Yeah, I mean, really, what do they say? False evidence. Fear is false evidence appearing real, which is what someone told me when I went on the public speaking course. And it's about being consistent, really. But in terms of before going on camera, there's little things that I do. I mean, this is why having a tripod's quite good, so you're not holding it. So you can kind of, it takes your body away and it frees you up from holding the camera. But when it's me, I'll do a little bit of jogging on the spot just to get the adrenaline pumping. Someone once told me recently, you can do breathing techniques, do a minute of, deep breathing in for a few seconds and breathing out for 7, get calm, get used to it. And, doing some power poses, some stretches. But also one thing you can't not do enough of is also practice. If you're doing a talk to an audience, you're going to practice, aren't you? And doing a video is no different. You don't just want to pick the video up. I mean, sometimes I'll pick it up, I'll have an idea, and then I'll be like, you know what? I'll soon realize that I haven't practiced because there'll be 100 takes, and I might just be like, you know what? I need to redo this or whatever, or So really practice. What you can do is you can write I wouldn't recommend writing a script because it doesn't really come across as natural. But writing, say, 3 bullet points or a few bullet points in the video, or let's just say 5. So an intro and outro, and then 3 main points you're going to talk about. Okay. So, and then the more you practice, the more you get used to it. And that is it. It's just practicing. Okay. One thing I always tell to kind of people I know and people that I teach is, if you want to start making video content, just get used to looking and talking to the phone every day, 60 seconds before you start work or whatever. Just, talk about the day before. You don't have to talk about anything in particular. You're just getting used to looking at that lens, getting used to the structure, a bit like driving a car, and then it will get easier.
Oh, absolutely. So it'd be interesting. Obviously, we've talked about the kind of the mechanics of doing it and feeling conscious, but what about the type of results that people can get? What have you experienced from your clients? The type of things that's happened to them since they've maybe created a video marketing strategy?
Yeah, I mean, from my clients, it's we've kind of got a range of clients. Let's just say there's one client in there which is kind of more of a personal branding client, and he'll put out regular tips. We'll do like a personal branding video day, so to speak. Excuse me, and he might get 15 to say 20 videos, and that's going to be his kind of strategy for weekly. But some things aren't always measurable in video, but one thing you do see on his videos, he's getting loads of views, lots of comments, and lots of engagement. And then from there, he is seeing a lot of people signing up to his courses, his workshops, which is great. So videos are always adding to that. we actually have a lot of clients in hospitality, and like start of this year, we started kind of creating packages. So we might film for a day or two, create some like 30-second videos, but then we'll give them like 25 kind of video assets, so 5 to 15-second videos. So it might just be one 5-second video of a cocktail being poured or something like that, and one of them's like a 5-star spa hotel, and they're getting thousands and thousands of views, but people actually inquiring on that video about a meal, or can they book a table, how much is it to stay the night and things like that. So that's without even the client even giving us that kind of results as well. And then other clients just literally increasing leads and obviously increasing conversions as well of actually decent sized clients. One of our big clients is any contract to them is worth multi-million pounds. Like we used to do a construction client where we do like a long-term time lapse, and that would help them go in and potentially win a deal from £500,000 plus. So the video, they told us that these videos were actually helping them. So that's why results and kind of metrics aren't always, they're great to look at as well, but actually sometimes you do need that feedback from your client, how the video is working. Oh, brilliant. We've actually, won 3 new clients this week worth. And that's where the kind of value comes in as well. It's, what is one client worth to them, and, compared to a 3-month video strategy, which kind of people need. So yeah, all sorts of results, which is really, really interesting. And even just from me personally, just from putting video on, one a week from 18 months, I've seen my kind of business world just change, and just like the connections I've made, but the business that have come in, especially from lockdown, it's been absolute. We've never been as busy as a business in such a bizarre time. And I put that all down to video, really.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see actually when we're all let out back into the real world and we're all kind of meeting again face to face, is that I think we find that people who have been present on places like LinkedIn and all social media and video, that when you do go to events, people will start recognizing you more and more. I know I do a lot of activity on LinkedIn. And I did used to get it at a lot of events. People say, I've seen you on LinkedIn, but that was mainly before videos. And I'm wondering if that'll kind of be even further down the line when we do eventually. I said, we're all back out there and mixing with each other.
Yeah, I guarantee it will happen. It did happen to me once. I was in a hotel and this lady walked past. I was having a coffee with someone and a lady walked past, and I thought I recognized her, and she was like, you're the video guy, aren't you, on LinkedIn? I was like, oh yeah. It was actually someone, they were coming to one of our workshops the next week or something like that. But it was a bit weird, to be honest. I didn't know how to react,
like a minor celebrity.
Yeah. But no, it's interesting. But yeah, it's good.
We had a great comment from Rob there. Yeah. So he's looking forward to doing his first selfie video.
Yes, Rob. And Rob, thank you for the phone, mate. I still haven't smashed it yet, and it's going well. So thank you for that. Yes, Rob, can't wait for your first video. I'm pretty sure you've done videos before though, Rob. But yeah, looking forward to it, mate. I used to have an office next door to Rob, so no excuses.
That's brilliant, man. Well, thank you for your time. And the last thing I just want to ask, you've kind of touched on it a few times. If people want to kind of find out more about you and kind of, like I said, look at your videos and some hints and tips, where do they need to go?
At the moment, I just go to my LinkedIn profile, to be honest. I'm going to be creating a new website in January, like my personal brand kind of website. And the first frame website needs to be deleted like yesterday or like 2 years ago, because there's a new one being created for that, just because we've changed so much as a business, and the message isn't quite right. It's just video production, and we do a lot more than that now. So yeah, go to my profile. That's the most up-to-date place. And if anyone wants any tips, just kind of connect with me, and there'll be loads of tips on there. And if anyone's got any questions about video, I love creating more content from the questions I get. So, feel free to ask me as many questions as you want.
Well, I think that's a really interesting point, actually, and a bit like I'm doing today. Use the people that you know for the videos. It doesn't have to just be you, doesn't it? It could be speaking to other people who are experts in what they do, your customers, your testimonials, whatever. There's so many different avenues that you can go down to use video.
Exactly,
yeah, that's brilliant, Ryan. So yeah, thank you very much for that. Thank you for your time. I'm sure by the looks of it, a lot of people have picked up some great ideas. So
thanks for having me on board. Anyway, it's been good to know. I only met you a couple of weeks ago virtually, so so it's been nice to be involved. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much for your time, Ryan. Like I said, if anyone does watch this back and they've got any questions, put it onto the feed, or I'm sure Ryan, if you want to send it to him directly, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to help with that.
Cheers.